days when I would be attending events, I got out of bed in the morning knowing exactly what I was going to wear and what I was going to do with my hair, because it had already been predetermined by my chaperone, Terry. If it was a ribbon cutting, I was going to wear my business attire with my hair straight. If it was a pageant, I was going to wear either my spring attire or my business attire with my hair curled. I always had to look presentable. It didn't matter that I had to wake up at 4:30 or 5 in the morning to be ready in time for school. And it didn't matter that I had stayed up late the night before working on homework. To be honest, when I ran for Miss Sunnyside, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I learned about Miss Sunnyside from a big pink flyer that was posted on my biology teacher's door. It said, Miss Sunnyside informational meeting Friday, May 1st, during the underclassmen lunch. All sophomore girls with a GPA of a 2.5 or better are eligible to run. Meet in room 209. So when the time came, I went. About 35 girls showed up. In the meeting, they explained to us what we would be doing and the whole process of running. After the meeting, I decided to fill out an application and run. Running for Miss Sunnyside wasn't that hard. As candidates, we had to attend a few events and do a few interviews here and there, but that was it. I feel like the hardest part of running was participating in the actual pageant itself. In the end, 14 girls ended up running. The hardest part for me was the fact that there was going to be a crowd. I've always had trouble being in front of crowds, so running the pageant was really hard for me. When it was time for me to go onto stage for the first time and dance with the group, I put a smile on my face and I went out there and I did my thing. It wasn't that bad because there was 13 other girls on stage with me, but when it came time to do my speech, I got really nervous. I was candidate number 14, so I was the last person to perform everything. And when my turn came up, I went out there and I gave my speech and I did my little walk. And I realized that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But the second I got off stage, I started shaking and my heart got really heavy because I realized that my talent was up next. Talking in front of a crowd was at the very edge of my comfort zone, so I was absolutely scared to death about singing. And as I stood backstage, waiting for my turn, I felt like I was going to faint. When the girl who was ahead of me finished her talent and the curtains closed, my heart stopped. I was frozen in place for about 30 seconds until one of the stage managers said that they were ready for me and gave me a little push to get me to walk on stage. As I walked to my spot, everything started to sound really muffled. All I could hear was my heavy heartbeat as I walked in the dark to the center stage. Once I was in my spot, I pulled the mic up to my lips, stood up straight, closed my eyes, and listened to myself get introduced.
Candidate number 14, Amanda Del Rio, will sing This Is Me by Demi Lovato.
After performing my talent, I felt like a weight had been lifted off my chest, but I still had a heavy heart because I knew that the worst part of the pageant was still to come. The lineup. The lineup is when all 14 girls go back on stage and hold hands and wait to learn who will be on the new Miss Sunnyside court. The lineup was probably the second hardest part of the whole pageant for me. Up until that point, I didn't care if I won or lost, but standing in line, the only thing I could think about was how bad I wanted to win. I just told myself, you didn't come this far to lose, especially not in front of your family. And as all the various awards began to be distributed, tension started to build, and I got that really heavy feeling in my chest again. I knew all the girls were nervous. We were all scared to learn the final outcome. It seemed like an eternity before I heard Terry getting ready to announce the new court.
Here we go with the 2010-2011 Miss Sunnyside court. The third princess is Juliet Guido.
After they called Julie, I started to prepare myself for the worst. I knew there was only 3 spots left, and I thought I'd be lucky to make it into the top 4.
The second princess is Alejandra Calderon.
After they called Alex, my heart started beating really fast, and I started shaking again. Only 2 spots left, I thought to myself. In my mind, I thought I had lost. I thought there was no way I could be in the top 2. And as Terry started to announce the runner-up, I just looked down and closed my eyes. I didn't want to know. I just wanted to get off stage already. Then it happened.
Amanda Villarreal.
It was me. While I was being crowned, everything seemed so surreal. I could hear my family cheering their heads off. Go Amanda! After the pageant, my family came running on stage, and the first person I hugged was my grandma, because it was her 85th birthday, and she had come to see me. The first thing I said after I was crowned was, "Happy birthday, Grandma." Do I miss it? Yeah, I do. Was it worth it? Yeah, it was worth every second. I wouldn't trade that experience for anything.